All right, I'm live here. I just had a quick pre-live meeting with John Mirrione. This is going to be a fantastic little live, great little discussion. I gotta say, he's one of my favorite guests that I've had on the podcast. Not just because, hello, Sneha, there's Sneha, hi, Sneha. Not just because we have so much in common. Hello, everyone. We certainly were both from Brooklyn, Italian, and well, I practice martial arts, but he is a martial arts master, and we'll get into that, especially as it regards personal development, and I'm waiting for him to join the live. I don't see him yet, but we'll get into. Hello, Sneha. People say, okay, John Mirrione is a martial arts master, but he's actually a leader of personal development, and we'll get into that. But this will be a brief live, which is I always strive to keep them brief, and I'm just waiting for him to join right now, and we'll get into a few things we talked about in the podcast, which is very, certainly informative. And if you're interested in personal development and martial arts, valuable. But he has some exciting news that he's going to announce. So I look forward to that. Okay, there's Harmony Karate. All right, he has joined. So John, now you just need to request to join the live. This is John. I think John's first time going on Instagram. It's a young people's app. Okay, there he is. And I hardly know how to use it. Yeah, Instagram is mostly for the young people. Although they're the primary netizens of it. Us older people are like, Insta what? Okay, so there he is. There's the man.
Great to see you.
Hey, John, great to see you. We haven't seen each other in a few months, and then we just saw each other a moment ago for our pre-live meeting. You got to turn your camera the other way, John. You're sideways right now. Unless you're about to do a judo kick. Okay, there you go.
We're good. We're good. We're solid here.
Yeah. Oh, perfect framing. Excellent. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
I was telling the audience, and don't sweat the numbers. This live will be posted for perpetuity, so the vast majority of people will see this after our live, who will see it. But I was just telling the audience how you and I have such a great rapport, certainly commonality. New York, Brooklyn, Italian, martial arts, even though I'm just a martial arts student and you are a master of martial arts. And a lot of people might think, oh, yeah, he's a martial arts guy. But really, you're a leader of personal development. And that's what you really are. And that's a big part of what you offer people is how martial arts is. Now it seems like, okay, that's physical personal development, but actually goes much deeper and not just about confidence, but about the way you think in terms of the way you see yourself, therefore the way you see the world, right? So I don't want to monopolize this conversation. Great to see you, John. Great to see you. And let me just say, if you haven't heard our interview, which was in June, the last time I saw him, you got to check out the interview I had with John. Fantastic. But so John works a lot with children. Well, first of all, he's had he had several martial arts schools. Harmony by Karate is rated one of the top 7 martial arts schools in the country, or if not the country, right? That's the country.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And that's Harmony by Karate.
That was a rating that was done. It was actually a rating that was done in Thailand. Somebody did a rating in Asia of schools in the U.S.
Wow.
I was, and it's the second rating we've had. So I'm, there's always better. People do this. They research and they make their judgments and they do their posts. So it's all flattering. But I think there are other great martial arts schools out there, and we have to remain humble about these things and keep it in perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's his martial arts school, and he's had more than one. I know, a lot of celebrities have talked about John Mirrione and how they went to his school in Manhattan and elsewhere. But that's the martial arts. But there's another thing that he does, and we're going to get more into this, and that's Harmony Power. And John works a lot with children. And primarily, Harmony Power was the first mandated anti-bullying program that was in a major city, which was Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is right over the river from Staten Island. I love that river. I love Staten Island. I love Elizabeth too, but not as much as Staten Island. And it was the first. It's so effective that it was mandated. So it wasn't just like it existed. You had to go to it. That's how great it was. And he's got news about that now. So now that I've established who John is, martial arts, personal development, anti-bullying guy, I understand you've got some news about Harmony Power.
I do. And I just want to just say a couple of things. So when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I say I have a leadership school in Manhattan, and I use martial arts to teach leadership. And inclusive and empathic leadership. Those are the two most valuable kinds of leadership that the world needs right now. So martial arts is a vehicle. And we were at the place called Reebok Sports Club for 20 years, and we were the premier martial art for that facility. And that's where we're teaching leaders. And we're talking about, like you mentioned, the celebrities and the CEOs. And that was kind of like the root. And I've used this vehicle of Harmony by Karate that I've had for 28 years now in Manhattan. This vehicle has been the ability to travel the country and to see what was going on as far as bullying and mass shootings. Obviously, bullying leads to mass shootings. People who shoot a gun, it's not the gun that's killing, it's the person behind the trigger. And that there's a history of being bullied either by their peers and or their parents that leads to this fear, this cry out for I'm not loved and nobody's listening. So I've traveled to 17 cities and learned from being in the school systems, figure out what was going wrong. You know, they have everything set up now where, you know, if a child bullies, they either get suspended, expelled, or they go to jail. That's what's been set up for the longest time, and it's further enforced because of social media. That's really escalated the, you know, schools really trying to, you know, pin this down. The issue is that it's not solving the problem because it's the self-love that's lacking that creates that problem, the lack of self-love, the lack of self-belief. This was my understanding as I traveled. Like, okay, so they have everything in place. When you do something wrong, everything's there. But there's nothing in place that's a mandate for the good things that you're doing or to even give you platforms to express those good things being not just community service, but kids expressing their gifts and talents. Like, who are they in this picture? So they go to school and they're given a platform of things that they have to learn, things that they probably never use in their life, forced to learn it, but there's nothing in there really honing in on who they are as humans and then being recognized for that good, like such as through music, through singing, dancing, artwork. That's what we have kids doing. And so in Elizabeth, New Jersey, when we give these awards out, it's not just these random awards, it's in mass volume. You know, my son Jordan, he actually does this film production every year, films it. We try to capture as much as we can with what these kids are doing. So now the good in a child, like even if you raise a child in your own home, right? You're a parent and you recognize the good in them and that's what you focus on. You're going to have a child that wants to do more good. They want the reward versus the punishment. There's every psychology book out there that proves it. So we don't need to do research to know that this is a good thing.
So you know, so let me see if I can repackage that. Really, what you do in your anti-bullying program, what you do is do a mass shooting preventative by helping people not be bullies and becoming, you know, bitter and miserable and vengeful. They can get through life and not entertain such pathological and destructive ideas.
It's very well said, right? So we recognize the good that children are doing in mass volume. We're going to prevent mass bullying, mass shootings, all of that, right? So we'll have a society that has a genuine balance that it needs to have, a harmony, a balance in the paradigm that's so grossly imbalanced. And then they can't even say it's going to cost money. I don't want to hear that it's going to cost you a piece of paper to recognize a child, please. They get a Harmony Power Award, right? That there's all the schools orchestrate this themselves. I sign off, they do the awards the way they want to do it, they're total control. and they do it in mass volume where they're having these events called Universal Harmony Day. And in that Harmony Day, they are expressing their gifts and talents and being awarded for it. And it's a permanent record in the report card. And they get to do it once a year. So every year, the child is being recognized for something good. They have the opportunity. I wouldn't say that every child. The goal is like 1 out of 3. That's kind of the goal with this whole paradigm. So can you imagine what the world looks like in 5 or 10 years if people took this very seriously? Like if every city made it a mandate, we would have this utopia possibility. This like love and respect people talk about. The solution is so simple, but yet people are so complex they can't even see what's in front of them.
You know, I absolutely agree with you. I would say, you know, and you could call this spiritual, you could call this philosophical, you could call it metaphysical. I would say the primary problem the world has, and I say that not as some cornball, is a lack of self-love. When you lack self-love, everything is projected outward. You know, the anger or the lack of love that you have for yourself, you project it outward. And whatever, whether it be political, whether it be criminal, whether it be any form of anti-socialness, it all comes from how you feel about yourself inward, and in all different ways, in all different strata. So I would say that you are right on it. And of course, young people become older people, and they don't even have to become older before they become relevant in society, right? As they grow as teens, they become more significant, and they take greater actions that have greater weight.
That's right. Well, you know, I had this event this week because it's a mandate in Elizabeth. So I'm doing a speech, 2 of them actually, this Thursday at School 50 in Elizabeth. And all of the schools, each one has a representative. They have to come and hear the speech.
Fantastic.
I always have them in tears because they have so much power. Every social worker and psychologist in all these schools, they have to show up and hear me speak. If they listen to which they do every year, but this year I'm more passionate than ever because they own this idea. When they own it and they execute it and they really get the principals to do what they're supposed to do, and they make this the most important thing in the school every year, that's how you change the world. Like, so to me, like I said, the solution is simple. People are complicated, but once you get them past this belief that, you know, this really works, of course it works. It's like every time a parent decides they're going to recognize the good in their child, they suddenly see a whole shift. It's known. You don't need to do research to see that. So that's the reality, is that everyone's looking for the solution when it's right in front of them. And Harmony Power is the solution to stop, to prevent bullying, to prevent mass shootings. Right?
You know, one of my favorite sayings, it's an axiom, I don't know who's the author of it, the originator, is that everyone wants to change the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves. And you know what? Children are people too, all right? And children have a responsibility to change themselves proactively. Just because they're children doesn't mean they don't have that responsibility, especially when it comes to either being a bully or being the victim of a bully, either way, or any other idea they have about themselves in regarding to their own self-worth, their own value. So they have to value themselves in order to value the world. Right? They have to value their own abilities in order to use those abilities for good, as opposed to in a destructive way. And I think that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, just so that people know the legitimacy of this organization, the Harmony Power Foundation, was actually established by AIG and Verizon. They established the legal entity, and Verizon still supports us. Yes, they're still on board with making sure that, you know, it's trademarked and all that. So they have that belief, and they know it's the deal, and they're supporting it. The other thing is that this, you know, the origin of this was launched on Oprah Radio. And Oprah's very close to Deepak Chopra. And then we were on One World with Deepak Chopra, where it's international. They know about this movement, Harmony Power. And then Disney's ABC announced it officially as it being the first mandated anti-bullying program in U.S. history. So this is it. So if there's a place in Staten Island, any district that is serious, I roll this out in a day or two. Like, it's at no cost. I don't go in and charge. I could do it on Zoom.
Wow.
So there's no excuses. And I invite all media on Thursday. Any media that wants to show up. I don't care if it's a local paper. I don't care how small it is. It's all big to me. Anybody can spread the word who wants to come and hear my speech. I can assure you I will blow you away because I'm really excited about it.
I've heard that you're a hell of an orator.
Thank you.
So
As you are.
What's that?
As you are. You're amazing. Yes.
Thank you. Very kind of you. So just to reiterate, so you started, well, you didn't start, but Harmony Power is your anti-bullying program.
That's right.
And it was first mandated as an anti-bullying program in the city of Elizabeth, New Jersey, some time ago. And now you're starting a new tour, brand new tour, and you're starting with Newark once again.
Actually, no.
Not Newark, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, right. Elizabeth it's not a tour, it's an appearance. They've asked me to go in and to speak to 100 of their representatives that they really need this. Every year when we do the rollout, this is like our 5th year, but this is the 3rd year that it's been mandated. They want it bigger than the year before, right? So in general, anytime there's something new, it might take 3 to 5 years. And even when you have a mandate, just because it's mandated doesn't mean everyone's following the rules. But a mandate, what it does is it ensures that a whole lot more people are going to be following the rules, and it's going to have a greater impact on children. That's the reality of it. And what ends up happening when they see how much money and energy and time it saves the school district, it saves them money because they're not spending money on prosecuting. It just makes their lives easier because kids are happier. Why would they want that? Why would they not want to save money and be happier? To me, it makes no sense. But I have to be on this crusade to make sure it makes sense. And until my last breath, I will be on this crusade because the entire world needs it. It's not about just the U.S. The entire world has the same issue. They talk about it in every country.
Absolutely. So, John, it's been awesome to see you again. I invite anyone, by the way, to go listen to the interview I had with John back in June. It's on the Self-Help Coaching Podcast. Go to the website, go any your platforms or whatever. You can go to YouTube, whatever. It's fantastic. He's really a delightful person. What a resume, what a biography he has. He's given so much. His ideas and his trainings have been recognized and followed. He's, besides being a martial arts master, he's a teacher of leadership and personal development, and not just anti-bullying programs for children, but for a much more well-rounded curriculum and things that he offers. I wholeheartedly recommend him and encourage you to check him out. Go check out the speech he's going to give in Elizabeth in 2 days, or just go to his website. John, what's your website again?
HarmonyByKarate.com.
HarmonyByKarate.com. John, so great to see you again. You're the man. Much love to you, my friend. Great stuff. We will be in touch.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
John, I don't want to end it. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the audience?
I just would love the media for 2 things: to spread the word in the schools and in the cities, and reach me. And any media is all media is good. Anyone that can come and film it or write a story, I'm right there. I want to spread the word. That's really my goal.
Fantastic. Oh, by the way, and maybe if Gary Umney is watching, Gary, maybe you might do that. Gary is our mutual friend who introduced John to me. By the way, I heard his mother is in hospice now, so God bless Ellen Umney and Gary and Gary's father, Bill. By the way, Gary also recommended that your wife, he says, Tony, you came to this interview with John Mirrione. You got to interview his wife. She is something else too. I was like, okay, well, have them get a hold of me. I'll see what she's about. So I don't know what she's about, but Gary raves about her.
Dr. Juju Love. No, Dr. Juju Love. I mean, she's the real deal. She's a natural pastor and spend time with the shamans, and it's the whole thing. I mean, she does the bowls, the singing bowls, and the chant, like all this stuff. Amazing healer.
Well, I'm intrigued, John. If you think she'd be a good guest on my podcast, and I encourage you to tell her to make a submission, and I would be. Well, I'll tell you what. Just the fact that she's your wife practically assures you that I'll have her on my podcast.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff. Thanks so much, John. Be well. Much love to you.
Too. Much love to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.